Good evening, High Desert. Are you ready? Come on, are you ready? You wanted the best. You got the best. The hottest event in the High Desert. It's time to ignite. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce tonight's MC and first igniter. Please welcome to the stage the Propel Outreach Specialist with Options for Youth Public Charter Schools, Stephanie Montoya.
Hello, guests. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and future innovators, welcome to Ignite. Thank you all for being here. So tonight, I'm going to talk to you about what happened when Terry and Mark asked me to MC Ignite. I thought, nope, no way, absolutely not happening. Immediately after they asked, I felt my heart just drop. My brain acting like an old computer on overload, right? Panic set in, and I thought, no way. Then I thought, what if? You know, once upon a time, I did ballet, jazz, and tap. Recitals were easy. Just pick a spot, smile. So why stage fright? Obviously, it didn't bother me before. Fun fact, stage lights are so bright, you can't see anyone. Stay on beat, have fun. In this fast-paced world and constant change, it's easy to find ourselves at the mercy of fear. Fear of failure, fear of change, fear of the unknown. But tonight, I challenge you to embrace those fears and confront them head on, transform them into a catalyst for growth. For tonight, I'm setting an example for my daughters. Yes, mom of 3 beautiful, fearful, loving, crazy, tough girls. And not to mention, I'm also the oldest of 4. So I can be tough sometimes, if I have to. And here I am facing my fears head on, like a brave warrior charging into battle, armed with nothing but a microphone and my shaky voice. Telling myself to remember to breathe. And thinking, Mark, Terry, you got me to conquer yet another fear. So what is Ignite? Ignite began as a single event in Seattle in 2006, hosted by co-founders Brady Forrest and Pri Pettis. It started with geeks talking about geeky subjects. Brady said, Ignite enables people everywhere to share ideas and learn to communicate with confidence. This is built into the format. The auto-advancing equalizes the playing field for speakers while making the talks exciting for the audience. The audience gets to hear lots of ideas in a short time. So if you're bored, you could grab a beer. Then the event ignited. Sam That started it here locally as the High Desert Ignite in 2015. High Desert, fun event to entertain us and inspire us. Although Brady also did say something about beer. I know we're in church, right? Fun fact, did you know he had to convince Terry to do it because she originally said no? Can you imagine that? She has so much energy, and she said no. So, Terry and our other Igniters on YouTube at Ignite High Desert. Tonight we will hear from 17 speakers. So hold on to your seats as our speakers share their ideas or stories in a fast-paced and concise manner. Each speaker has 5 minutes and accompanies their presentation with a set of slides, auto-advancing every 15 seconds. Okay, so pay attention. After our first set of 8 speakers, there will be a 30-minute intermission. Not only hear new ideas and experiences, but also meet new people. Maybe check in with an old friend. Convince them to come up here next year. I already tried it. Also, did you notice our great food vendors on your way in? Well, this is also a great time to visit them and try those delicious treats. Maybe get a business card, use them for a future event. We'd also like to take a minute to recognize our sponsors. Please, let's me take a breath. And you guys, please, a round of applause for our great sponsors. So during intermission, a timer will display on screen showing a countdown. There will be a 2-minute warning. The break is over. So we will deploy ushers to urge you back to your seats. Again, 2-minute warning. Say it with me. 2-minute warning. Please don't make it awkward. Remember, I'm afraid of being on stage, so if I can get the attention off of me, highlight it on you, I can and I will. It's called deflecting. My girls do it to me when they know I'm getting mad. The people you will hear from today have spent hours creating their presentations, so be respectful of what they have to say, even if you disagree with them. We all can agree to disagree. We're all adults, no judging, right? This event is easier said than done. It's a lot of pressure to get these slides timed correctly, not to mentioning remembering to breathe. Like I said, my brain likes to forget that when I get on stage. So while I'm up here, please help me cheer them on before and after their presentations. And since I didn't pass out, just like my fear of heights, I conquered yet another fear. Check that off my bucket list. You know, I'm starting to like it up here. Ignite, thank you team for helping me, and push/shove on and all for the support. I'm grateful and honored for this opportunity. Thank you for your participation. We could not put this event together without you. Are we ready to ignite? Let's get our hands together nice and loud and welcome our first presenter.
Within each of us lies the power to shape our futures and have a lasting impact on the world. So tonight, I invite you to ignite the transformative power of asking the question, what if? What if I told you that within you lies the power to transform not just your own life, but the lives of people all around you? What if I challenged you to ponder the immense possibilities that await when you dare to embrace the question, what if? So often, we put ourselves in a box and we limit our own thinking. At first, whenever I asked myself the question, what if, my brain immediately came up with all the worst case scenarios and everything that could possibly ever go wrong. But then, one day, I began to see this question in a new light, that this simple question could open the door of endless possibilities, that maybe even the bad things and the stuff that I can't control, that even those things could be used to inspire change. It was from this change in thinking, this shifting in my perspective, that my heart began to stir, and I began to believe that I was called for something more. With inspiration of new possibilities, I chose to answer that call. What if you too were meant to be a change agent, to make a difference in other people's lives? What if you were created for a purpose? You see, it's not just about answering the call for ourselves, but it's about bringing other people along on the journey with us. Now, I've not always felt called to lead. In fact, the truth is, I never felt like a leader or saw myself as one. It took somebody else seeing the potential in me, calling it out, and offering me opportunities to lead. Somebody who believed in me. Now, I don't always know the way or even how to make it happen. And sometimes, guys, I don't want to get out of my warm, cozy bed and seize the day, as they say. But one truth I've learned, the hardest person you will ever have to lead is you. Forging the way through change, not my favorite thing to do. And many times I've had to just press forward, trusting that God's going to show up, He's going to guide me, and He's going to give me wisdom. You might feel like your voice doesn't matter, but you are not alone. You know, even a smile, a simple word of encouragement, or an act of kindness has the power to change a person's day. The smallest actions often leave the greatest impact, sparking positivity, inspiring change in the hearts of other people. Now, in moments of doubt and uncertainty, I've always found strength in knowing that I can do all things through God who gives me strength. Oh, yeah. And the quote I once read that said, when God called you, He already factored in your stupidity. Most comforting words I ever read. But even in the midst of challenges and setbacks, I've witnessed God's faithfulness in working everything together for good. Our choices today, they shape the world for future generations. So whether it's speaking kind words, advocating for justice, every action affects the future. So tonight, I want to challenge you to embrace the power of what if. Let the pursuit of the impossible propel you forward. Allow it to fuel your journey, pushing you forward with determination and purpose. I've always loved Corrie ten Boom's analogy of life as a tapestry, where each thread holds deep meaning. Challenges, while painful, are part of your story. While we may only see the messy underside, God sees the beauty of the finished work. But we have to be willing to say yes to the process, to go through those difficulties and failures, yes, even pain, knowing that those things are shaping us and refining us. They're making us into the very best version of ourselves. So, what part of your story hasn't been told? You have experiences and knowledge that nobody else has. They're unique to you, and they're meant to be shared with others, to encourage them and to inspire them as they go down their journey. Now, I used to live in a box of my own limitations and others' expectations of me, until I dared to believe that I could be something more, that there was a plan and a purpose for me to fulfill, just like there's a plan and a purpose for you to fulfill. Because we are not promised tomorrow. So what's left for you to accomplish in your life? When you begin looking around you for opportunities, you will see them. Slow down, take a moment, reflect, and ask yourself, what more do I want to do? You have been placed in this city and your family for such a time as this. Treat every day as an opportunity. Embrace your journey. Guide others, add wisdom and compassion to their lives. Make a difference, because your story matters. You were created with purpose. What God has implanted in your heart, it needs to be heard. What if tonight you embrace it and you choose to live it out?
Internship saved my life, and tonight I'm here to show you how you have the power to save someone else, to save them from poverty, from burnout, from debt, empty promises, and broken systems. You have the power to run an internship program or hire apprentices, the power to pass your knowledge and expertise on to the next generation of entrepreneurs and innovators, of makers and doers. You have the power. I'll show you how to use it. So what exactly is an internship or an apprenticeship? It's not complicated, and in the next few minutes, I'll tell you what they are, how my life was turned around by my internship, and show you how many folks need you to do the same. Has anybody heard of internship? Classically, internships and apprenticeships were used mostly by the skilled trades as a way of teaching essential skills to new workers. Historically, these were used by the unions, and they've worked well. But modern internships and apprentices can be in any industry and focus on giving the apprentice or intern the skills they need, as well as a taste of what the job is going to be like. Think of it like a test drive and driver's training wrapped up into one. It also lets employers get a look at new talent, like scouts at the big game. Modern programs are also what's called competency-based, meaning that to complete your program, you must prove that you have the skills and the knowledge to get the job done. No more putting in your time if you know your stuff. The only real difference between internship and apprenticeship is how formal the commitment is. Interns are temporary, and they usually know their end date when they start. Apprentices are permanent, more like a full-time employee that's in probation, waiting to become a full hire. Participants, whether they be interns or apprentices, should be paid for their work. It's important to think of them as employees. This is something that separates internships and apprenticeships from more classical training programs. Pay can eliminate barriers to those less fortunate and give them an opportunity to show their stuff. People learn skills hands-on, they get involved in the work, and they take away real-world lessons. The most significant and useful lessons I learned when training to become a teacher came from my student teaching experience where I was in the classroom and the internship I had in college where I was hands-on. So how did I get where I am today? I spent high school overworked, 13 AP classes, student athletics, film festivals, extracurriculars, and I graduated barely. But I had no prospects, no direction, no plan or idea about what I wanted to do. My teachers really had tried their best with me, and I can still balance chemical equations, talk about the xylem and phloem of fruiting plants, or explain the cultural impact Walt Whitman had on American literature. But it was just school to me. It wasn't real life. I was refused admittance by every college I applied to, CSUSB included, and so I applied for community college. I went to Crafton Hills and decided I would study film because I had some experience in it. I could tell my parents I was going to college, and that made them happy. But I needed a job, so I applied to be a student intern at SBCUSD just down the hill. My mom was a teacher, and I was really familiar with school. So I got hired on at $10 an hour, and I was elated. I had no idea what I was doing, but I listened, I tried to be helpful, and I did my best. And so that went for the next few years. Not only did that job put food in my belly and gas in my car, it taught me a lot about being an employee, how to work with others, and what to do when I encountered problems. I found out I was pretty good at this stuff. And so that set the course for the rest of my life. I finished college and became a teacher with the very district I had interned with, and a few years later I was hired by Tomorrow's Talent because I had impressed the founder during my time as an intern. My old boss even helped me buy my first house in 2021. My story should not be unique. It should be normal. Here in the high desert, we have students who need us, all through the region, in Hesperia Unified, in Victor Valley Union, Apple Valley Unified, Excelsior Charter, and VVC. There are talented, capable young adults who are looking for a chance. They bring fresh energy, new ideas, and modern sensibilities to the workplace. Young adults have decades of working years left in the tank, and they need somewhere to start. So let's give them a launch pad for the rest of their life. If you asked me what I wanted to do when I was 17, I would have told you I was headed for Hollywood. I loved being on stage, and I was obsessed with movies. Now, I help people find their passion. I get to visit Sony studios often, and I still get to be on stage. No matter what you do or what your title says, these young folks need your help. So introduce someone to their future boss. Give some tips on the best people to talk to. Show them how to build a bridge to their passion, and then help them walk across that bridge. The absolute best time to start this process was 10 years ago, but the second best time is today. People right here in the high desert need you. They need opportunities. So remember, you have the power.
Good evening, High Desert. Are you ready to rock your morning? I'm going to show you how to rock your life. Start with a morning routine. What if you could just wake up a little bit earlier before everyone else in your household? And what if you filled up your cup before pouring into others? What if this set the tone for the rest of your day? Start with a morning routine. The mornings can be crazy, uncontrollable, but we can't control for those things. What we can control is ourselves and our reactions to them. So remember, you can control the controllable, and that starts with a morning routine. Successful and famous people like Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey have morning routines. Some start at 5 in the morning with a run, some at 2:45 with a meditation. You create the routine that works best for you and do one habit over and over again consistently over time. Morning routines take time. My routine took years to create, but it has saved me over and over again. Take small baby steps. If you want to wake up 5 minutes earlier, go to bed 5 minutes earlier. Habit and another habit. Do it consistently over time, over and over again. A good morning routine starts at night. If you want to go to bed earlier, like I said, go to bed earlier. Power down your screens and your social media. Put on Do Not Disturb. Make sure to eliminate all food and drink at least 2 hours before bed. When you wake up, first thing you should do, make your bed. It will bring some order to your life. Admiral McRaven, the author of Make Your Bed, said, if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. It will give you a sense of pride and accomplishment because you accomplished the first task of the day, and you'll be able to do another task and another. After you make your bed, drink some water. Often we are dehydrated, and that's why we are so tired. So don't hit play on that coffee pot. Continue to drink water throughout the day, at least half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. My morning routine comes from the personal development book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. It's a simple book which has break down the morning routine into the simple mnemonic, savers. You can do this anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to an hour, depending on the time that you have. Let's review them one by one. S is for silence. Just take some time to just be in silence. Put away your phone and your email. Just be in time with your silence and pray and meditate. and then you'll go from there. And then A is for affirmations. Make sure to say the words, I am brave, I am strong, I am an igniter. Say these words out loud in the mirror, write them down, but make sure to say them out loud. There is power in the way that we speak and sound to ourselves. V is for visualization. Picture, how do you want your day to go? Your year, your life, your family. What are the sounds and the colors? What are the sounds that you hear? Make a vision board and look at it. Just visualize how you want your day to go. E is for exercise. Get some movement in, at least 10 minutes, ideally 30 minutes. Do a form of movement that you enjoy and do it. You love to dance, hula hoop, or jump? Just get up, get that heart rate up. If you can't move, just move your arms. Add in your favorite playlist for a boost, but just get moving. R is for read. Read a personal development book, a fiction book, the Bible, whatever you want. Read a page or a chapter, whatever you have time for. Do not read something that is for studying. This is your free, fun time. S is for scribe. Journal your thoughts. Do a brain dump, a reflection on the day from what you did before, or a gratitude list for the day that's coming up. How do you see today? If you don't like to write, draw a picture. Scribe time can also be the time that you write down your affirmations. That's what I do. If you want to spend money on a fancy journal, do that. If you have scrap paper, you can use that. Building a morning routine, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes one small habit built on top of another and another. Just start small. Go to bed 5 minutes earlier and build from there. But remember, small steps done consistently over time, they build success. You will find your rhythm and find the routine that works for you. Remember, you have to fill up your cup before you pour it into others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Just like a car cannot run on an empty tank of gas, you have to fill up your tank first, and then you'll be a little bit more grounded. By doing so, you'll be able to be at peace, and you'll be able to maneuver anything that the day may throw at you. All those meetings piling up, emails, did you have a late client? Your car didn't stop? Your dog pooped in your house? Remember, you can't control for those things, but the only thing that you control is yourself and your actions and your response to all the uncontrollable things. By taking a few moments for yourself, start your day with a morning routine. You will be a better version of yourself, be calmer, and be a better person for society and your family. You will learn to love your mornings, and your day will have an added boost. You will learn to love the silence and the peace and the quiet in those mornings. You're going to crave those mornings. The artist Victoria Durnack stated, "The silence in the morning holds lots of expectations and is more hopeful than the silence at night." So just try to start breaking your morning routine. If you get lost, use Savers as a guide. Remember, S for silence, A for affirmations, V for visualizations, E for exercise, R for read, and S for scribe. Do these steps slowly and consistently so you can rock your morning and rock your life. Thank you.
I love the military. My son served for the military. Specialist Stephen Mobley, AKA Doc, he was a medic. He joined the military to take care of his family. So many young kids are leaving college and starting their journey as young adults. The military is a great place to start, see the world, learn a trade, get college paid for, and learn and get that dream of a degree. The hardest part about being with the military is that you're away from your family for months, sometimes years at a time. I can tell you the hardest part about being a parent is not being there for your child when they need you the most. My son lost his battle to his own hand while serving. Nearly half the service members while serving died due to suicide. I'm sorry, yesterday would have been his 36th birthday, bear with me. I'm blessed to stay connected with so many of his Army brothers, and I watch their families grow, and I mourn with them as we lose yet another brother to suicide. 22 veterans a day, 22. Everyone matters. My first resource was the Army and the Survivor Outreach Service Program. Lori Bacard put her arms around me from day one and never let me go. It was Lori that connected me with other survivors, other Gold Star family members. And now, when I first heard about the Gold Star Mothers, I didn't want to be a part of that club, but now there's no place else that I'd rather be than the president of the Inland Empire chapter of American Gold Star Mothers. So I can raise awareness and so that we can be the resource that's so desperately needed. Had I known that all I had to do was pick up the phone and I could get someone to put their arms around my son during his time of need. In World War I, people would hang a banner in the window, a blue star for those serving in the military. If those service members pass, that star changes to gold. A Gold Star mother is the mother of a child that died while serving, or a mother that lost their child for a service-related injury or issue, regardless of cause. These Gold Star mothers joined a national chapter in 1928 and have been putting their arms around our military communities ever since. There's no place else I would want to be than putting my arms around our military community. I work with so many nonprofits and organizations, and together we can make a difference. Together we can put our arms around your loved ones. The U.S. Army, the VA, Operation Sick Care, AUSA, DAV, Families of Active Military, Mission Fish, and the Blue Star Mothers. Sorry. Our families, they have a lasting bond. We've been working with the local VA to start a support group for our local Gold Star children. That we're going to start that in May. I'm really excited for a lot of the things that the Army has done for us throughout the year. They put their arms around us and treat us as family. We do remembrance walks and we do tree lighting ceremonies. Some of my favorite things that we've done is get together and stuff Christmas stockings for 350 soldiers that were left in the barracks for the first time over Christmas. These soldiers are 18 and 19 years old and away from their families for the very first time. We were sure to include a list with phone numbers in case they needed someone to call. I was blessed to cook and share a mother's love for some soldiers up at a retreat in Arrowhead and find priceless selfie on my phone later. Nothing fills the void for me better than putting my arms around our military community. It's not just the veterans, it's the currently serving as well. It's not just the currently serving, it's also the Gold Star family members and spouses. Everyone needs your support, and together we can reach more. Thank you.
Good evening, High Desert community. I'm a program coordinator for the Children's Reserve Success Team, which encompasses our foster youth services, our homeless education, and our child welfare and attendance with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. Tonight I'm going to share some details about our foster youth, ask for your help, and share with you how your support can make a difference in our community. Remember that a foster youth enters care at no fault of their own, and honestly, a lot of them are really struggling. Many are clinically depressed. They have suicidal ideations. They blame themselves for the situation that their family is in, and they struggle to comprehend what's really going on. In schools, they're less likely to graduate high school. They're more likely to miss school, and they're more likely to be disciplined than any other students. Foster youth have outcomes of any student subgroup in our school campuses. Just take a second and think about it. There's a reason that youth are removed from their homes, with neglect and abuse being the two most common. Many times, a police officer is involved in the removal. Many were living in traumatic environments. then went through the trauma of the removal, and then the trauma of learning that to live with a new, unknown family that might have different religions, different expectations, different rules, different language, different culture. They don't get to take any of their things with them. It's just a whole new environment that they have to get used to. And they do this over and over and over again as we move our foster youth from home to home and school to school. It's difficult for them to even make a connection or a meaningful relationship. Many are separated from siblings, especially if it's a large family. There's just not space in a household for multiple kids of the same family. The older youth often worry about the safety of their little brothers and sisters, and they see them very infrequently. For many, this trauma continues into adulthood, where many former foster youth experience homelessness, abuse, sex trafficking, and prison. And few graduate college or enter into gainful employment. The good news, we know what one of the biggest factors for overcoming a lot of these obstacles is, and it's education. Education helps stop cycles of physical abuse, drug abuse, alcoholism, poverty, etc. Education builds confidence, knowledge, and experience that carries them all the way into adulthood. So how do we help make sure that our foster youth are getting the support they need to be successful in school? One of the ways is to make sure that we've identified somebody that can make educational decisions on the behalf of the youth. Helping to ensure that a youth is able to have school stability, the services that they need to be successful on a school site, and engage in activities. Education rights remain with a biological parent unless a judge removes them. Education is usually the last right that a judge will ever remove. When a judge removes educational rights, they're supposed to identify an adult known to the child that can take over this responsibility. Unfortunately, a lot of our foster youth, they don't have family, and there's no adult that the judge can identify. In a case like this, the judge has to ask the school district to appoint a surrogate. This is where my ask of you is going to come in. There are restrictions on who a school district can appoint. It can't be a school employee. It cannot be a social worker. It cannot be a group home staff. Schools often call me to assist in this process. And the first thing I ask them is, have you contacted any business professionals from your community? Have you talked to faith-based individuals? Have you talked to any retired teachers in your community that might be able to help you in this short-term need that you have? Many times the district cannot identify anybody because their focus is primarily on education, and sometimes they just don't have the connections in their community. And this is where I envision our community in being able to help. I want to be able to ask the district liaison, have you connected with your local chamber to see if a member of the chamber might be interested in serving in this capacity? Getting our community to support the youth of our community that need these services the most and that need your help the most. This process has a big impact on youth being able to have school stability, graduation options, and to receive needed services. The commitment is often small, once or twice a year for a half an hour, and it's only to make educational decisions. That's it. We're not asking you to take them into your home or any giant commitment. Let me give you an example of the impact. This is Lucy. Lucy is a former foster youth who attended Chaffee Joint Union High School District. Lucy was recently a peer associate with our department, Children Deserve Success, but she left to start her own motivational speaker company. Lucy shares that her father is in prison for doing unthinkable things to her and her siblings. And she was born to a mother that was also in prison when she was born. When in high school, Lucy had a 4.5 GPA, 0 plans for college, and spent most of her days just trying to survive. Now Lucy ended up at University of Laverne on a full scholarship, graduated with BS degree, and has dedicated her life to speaking to other youth with similar lived experience. She shares the importance of resilience in education, and she's clear to credit her district liaison and community members just like you for her success. There are so many other Lucys in our community, and they need you.
So, I have one question for you tonight. Are you a writer?
I'm defining writing for this presentation as a comprehensive effort which begins with an idea and ends with publishing. Writing is powerful. Just think about it. The Almighty God Himself decided to express and communicate His way of salvation through writing. I'm a writer. These are some of the books that I've written. This is my series. I call it Godsend. It's all about God calling a group of young people to become warriors in His battle to save humanity. They're a lot of fun. But I also write articles. This is an article that was recently published in the Bible Advocate magazine. And the fun thing about being a writer is you're part of the conversation. Thousands of people read articles every day in magazines, and so now I have a voice. But this is my favorite thing I ever wrote. This is my beautiful wife, Debbie. She is a hospice nurse here in the high desert, and I wrote this article about her for the Pulse newspaper, and she really is the hand of God to her patients. So who is this guy, this smiling guy? This is Alan Watt. He's one of the country's foremost writing coaches. And we had him recently at our writing club, and I asked him, Al, should everybody write? And he said, absolutely not. Not everybody's a writer. So how did I become a writer? Well, I was writing letters to my mom who lived in Oklahoma and telling her all the silly things my kids did, and she said, you should be a writer. And so I came up with a message that I wanted to communicate, and this is it. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And all of my books are all about this. Ordinary people changing the world through their choices. So what does it take to become a writer? Number one, you've got to be a lifelong learner. This is a picture of our living room. This is one wall in my living room, one of the many different libraries in my house. I know you're feeling bad for my wife right now. A writer has to be curious. I was a teacher here in Hesperia for 30 years, taught in the Hesperia Unified School District. And this is me with some of my kids. That is not a lightsaber. That is a fluorescent tube, and I'm holding a Tesla coil lighting it up. Writing requires humility. You have to be willing to put yourself aside and really listen to other people and really understand the human condition and what makes them tick. Writing takes motivation. Writers write because they're writers, not because they want to get rich. Only 2% of all writers are able to make a living at writing. They write because they are writers. This is one of the most famous writers in the country, Dean Koontz, and he was our speaker recently at our writing club here in the high desert. And he was telling us what he does to write. He writes one page, and then he goes back over it 30 times before he goes to the next page. Writing requires emotion, feeling. When I'm writing, I feel the emotions of my characters. And then some magic happens, and the emotions that I feel go into the text, and then the reader that reads it feels those same emotions. It also takes imagination. This is actually a scene in one of my Godsend books. And what happens is, as I'm writing, I see the scene in front of me like it's on a screen, a movie screen, and I imagine it over and over again until I've got it, and then I sit down and write it. Writing takes resilience. You have to be in it for the long haul. To write a book may take months, may take years, and you have to believe in what you're saying. You have to believe in your message, and you have to want to get it across. It also takes community. These are just some of the members of our High Desert Writers Club, and they help me to be a better writer. There are over 100 members in our club at this time, and we need each other. We found that writing is a field. It requires a lot of different skills. And when you're in a community, you interact with each other, and there's a synergy that helps you to go forward and become the best writer that you can possibly be. Writing is also rewriting. Nobody writes the best writing in their very first draft. You have to write it, rewrite it, edit it. It goes through a long process. This is a picture of my son, Jeremy, who really is the mastermind behind the Godsend series. I started this presentation with a question. Are you a writer? And the only way to know whether you're a writer or not is to start writing. If you are a writer, you will never stop. Thank you.
I've heard these words 1,000 times in my life. You know it's fake, right? If you mean it's scripted, choreographed, predetermined, well, I won't argue those terms. But pro wrestling is not fake. Pro wrestling is entertainment. Movies, TV shows, comic books. Pro wrestling takes some of each of these forms. And although it's often compared with mainstream sports, it's not sports competition. It's sports entertainment. Pro wrestling requires exceptional athleticism. The performers are real athletes. Many of them are in tremendous physical shape and train daily. In January 2007, I sat next to my friends Matt and Nick. They were preparing to wrestle for a pro wrestling TV show. They had just wrestled a match the night before, and Matt's knee was the size of a grapefruit. He said it was excruciating when he injured it 10 hours earlier. But a shot of cortisone directly into the joint had numbed it enough to wrestle this early morning match. Pro wrestling is real people using their real bodies. The physical nature of this genre is real. They bleed real blood. They break real bones. They suffer real concussions. They tear real tendons. But for what, right? For a fake sport. That's what far too many people underline when they think of pro wrestling. It may not be your favorite teams vying for the world championship on a turf or a court or an ice rink, but that still doesn't make it fake. The men and women who are professional wrestlers don't become professionals overnight. They go to wrestling school. They learn how to hit the mat. They learn how to take and deliver a punch to the head. They learn to fly from the top rope. And along the way, they learn how to perform for an audience. They work to elicit an emotional response from the crowd. They learn how to perform the moves we see in the ring to tell a larger story. The stories are why I've been hooked since I was 3 years old. My dad watched it for the comedic value. He thought so much of it was just plain funny. But when I saw the red and yellow of Hulkamania, I was sold. As I grew older, I understood the stories and the depth of the storytelling. Whether it's a single match in the ring or over the course of months of television programming and grand events featuring these larger-than-life characters. Behind those characters are real people, and those real people endure real hardships. A film by Barry Blaustein in 1998 called Beyond the Mat details the lives of several professional wrestlers. The film shows the grueling and truly traumatic side of pro wrestling that so many simply call fake. It wasn't fake when Mick Foley, as shown in the movie, took multiple shots directly to the head from a real steel chair to tell a broader story in his fake wrestling match. Mick wrote about this match in his first autobiography, Have a Nice Day, A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks. He wrote about the concussions, the broken bones, the cuts requiring countless stitches over his career. He also devoted an entire chapter to another wrestler, Owen Hart. Owen was preparing to descend onto the ring at an event in May 1999 when the harness that held him 90 feet up failed. Owen fell that 90 feet to the ring. He suffered head and chest trauma that claimed his life. It killed him, all in the name of a fake sport. I watched inside the former Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim as Shawn Michaels won his first world championship. Okay, it was predetermined, but the energy, the crowd reaction, the pure joy among us fans, that was real. And at 39 years old, I still get lost in the pageantry, the stories, the characters. And I still occasionally pay my hard-earned money to let the wrestlers help me suspend my disbelief for a few hours as I get lost in the stories, with the help of clotheslines and close pinfalls and the occasional steel chair. The training, dedication, and work to become a pro wrestler isn't fake. The care performers take to protect each other in the ring isn't fake. The swollen knee I saw sitting next to me in 2007, that wasn't fake. The physical trauma endured within this supposed fake sport certainly isn't fake. The wrestlers may be playing characters, but the trauma their bodies endure is not fake. Owen's death wasn't fake. You can call pro wrestling a lot of things, but it's not fake.
Before I get started, I have a confession to make. I don't actually like tamales. I never have. Maybe it's a texture thing. I can't tell you exactly why. But I named my speech My Perfect Tamal because that's just one. Most people call them tamales because everybody can eat more than one. Tamales are a touchy subject, a tradition that people feel strongly about. So I realize that there are lots of people here that I might have already offended because I admitted my secret dislike for such a grand tradition. You know, the thing is, food is amazing. It has a way of bringing family and friends together. Coming together to make and enjoy time-honored dishes is often less about eating and more about maintaining traditions and relationships. You see, so for centuries, tamales have been more than just a meal. They've been a symbol of unity. They've been a testament to the richness of our diverse cultures. This delicacy has woven itself into the fabric of Latin American cuisine, becoming a staple in households across the globe. So, what exactly is a tamal? Tamales are made of masa, which is ground corn moistened with water. The masa is wrapped in whatever leaves might be available, like corn husks, and inside the masa is a filling of tender meats, spices, and vegetables. So, my grandma Stella taught me a lot of things growing up, but my favorite lessons were always in the kitchen. We made chicken and dumplings, cookies at Christmas time, homemade tortillas, and of course, her famous tamales. The thing about my grandma, though, was that she wasn't forthcoming about her recipes. She didn't tell you all the ingredients. You had to stand right next to her and watch her because she would always add a little bit more salt or cumin without measuring anything. She was constantly tasting or smelling or feeling the texture, so she knew exactly how her creation was coming along. So, let's make them. First up, we prepare the chilies, a blend of ancho and Colorado chilies boiled until they're soft. Chili is what gives the meat the most flavor. So there's salt and cumin and oregano, and then we blend it until it's a nice and smooth finish. After that, we've got the meats. My grandma used both pork and beef, and she'd simmer the roast on the stovetop all day with just an onion, bay leaf, and salt. Then she'd use a meat grinder to be sure that both meats were incorporated and mixed nice and evenly. And then, of course, we've got the masa. My grandma had a favorite bakery that she would get her masa from, and she'd add some baking powder, some chili powder, a little manteca, and she'd add a little bit of that chili to make the masa a little bit more colorful. When all of these were finally ready, the assembly would begin. Spreading the masa in the husk in a nice, even layer, and then placing the meat in a line down the middle of the husk, making sure it doesn't run to the edges while we cook it. Assembling each tamal by folding the husk and the tail. And then we wait. Some think that there's a curse on whoever eats the tamal that sticks to the pot. But if you cook the tamales right, there should be no tamales stuck at all. When the husk comes away easily from the masa and the filling, the tamales are done. This is a time that brings generations together, an event that families look forward to each year. A tamale-making party is called un tamalada. It's part art, part hard work, part repetitive labor, but all family bonding. Passing down stories, sharing laughter, and creating memories. Each family member takes on a different task to prepare the tamales, and the older generations share their skills with the younger generation. Keep in mind, this is no easy task. For lots of hardworking families, it's a labor of love that started lots of years ago. These tiny packages can be savory, filled with meat, or sweet and filled with fruit. Each tamale is unique and created one by one. So the tamal has come a long way since the early Aztecs ate them at war. Tamales were often carried by warriors on long journeys and hunters on hunting trips. The women made them for festivals and rituals, and their preparation hasn't changed much since. You see, food, it's essential for everyone, playing a role in our lives from ordinary days to special occasions and holidays. Traditional recipes, cooking techniques, dining etiquette, they can reflect the values and beliefs of different communities, and they're all vital parts of our cultural heritage. Just the aroma of food can take you back to your childhood, and no matter how you choose to fill your tamales, you'll always be a part of a long history of faith and family as you enjoy these ancient treats, whether or not you like them. So the name of my presentation is My Perfect Tamal, but I think we all have a recipe in our families that's made the same way. It's wrapped in history and culture, filled with respect for tradition, and enjoyed with the love of family. So in a world that often seems divided, let's take solace in the simple act of making tamales. A reminder that no matter our differences, we are all connected by the bonds of family, culture, and love. And a margarita. Salute.
Hi, everybody. Are we enjoying Ignite? I hope you guys enjoyed the first half of tonight's 8th annual Ignite High Desert. Before we go on break, I want to recognize the following sponsors and food vendors. Our Ember sponsors, ABD Office Solutions, Kyocera Authorized Partners, Apple Valley Communications, Apple Valley Transfer and Storage, Shred Docs, Cross-Eyed Cow Pizza, Elementum Services, Farmers Insurance Clinton Alford Agency, Global Credit Union, High Desert Sports Foundation, Holiday Inn Victorville, ISU RMAC Insurance Service, Saddle Rock Reverse Mortgage, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Steno Design Studio Architecture, and Victorville Daily Press. For our Spark sponsors, Blue Star Properties, High Desert Boss Moms, Mitsubishi Cement Corporation, Mojave Printing Solutions, and Mojave River Watershed Group. Our Flame sponsors, Advanced Disposal, City of Hesperia, and Hesperia Recreation and Park District. And if I could please have everybody all together, one loud round of applause for our sponsors, please. And of course, our food vendors, El Pollo Loco, Farmer Boys, Kona Ice of Victor Valley, Olympic Flame Burgers, Roll 'em Up Taquitos, Sizzler, and Texas Roadhouse. We are taking a 30-minute break, so please make sure you visit our food vendors and our exhibit tables, and see you soon. Alrighty, welcome back. Remember I said I would call you out. You guys ready? That didn't convince me. One more time, are we ready? I hope you all enjoyed our break, and we're able to try, see, stage fright, you can't even see me. And we're able to try some delicious offerings from our food vendors. Before we begin the second half of Ignite High Desert, we want to recognize both our presenting sponsors. Please welcome, representing our 1st District Supervisor, Colonel Paul Cook, District Director, Kimberly Messon.
So I know what you guys are thinking. This isn't the man who's older than dirt and likes to talk a lot. I'm quite the opposite, actually. I'm still fairly young, and I'm pretty straight to the point and like to keep it simple and short. So it's my honor to be here, be able to be here on behalf of our office and be a sponsor. As I mentioned last year as well, I'm always happy to be here. Sorry, Mark, I will not be an igniter because I do not like to talk for that long, but always happy to be here and just give a brief little speech. Again, happy to sponsor, and if there's ever any assistance our county office can provide to you, please feel free to reach out. Thank you and have a nice evening.
Next, please welcome representing Providence St. Mary Medical Center, Chief Philanthropy Officer, Nicole Orr.
Thank you. We're so proud to be able to sponsor this event this evening and are really amazed by how great our speakers are doing and the wonderful stories that they're telling. And we're hoping to come back next year and tell you some pretty amazing stories ourselves, because 2024 is going to be a year of transformation at St. Mary Medical Center. We have a lot of great things going on, and you'll be hearing about it more and more as we go throughout the year, but please know that we are so committed to making sure that we bring you a level 4 trauma center, a new sexual assault response team unit, the first of its kind and much needed in the high desert, and also residents. We are so happy that we are going to be bringing young new doctors out to our area to help provide health care that we so sorely need. So happy to sponsor this evening and to be able to be out in the community doing more work, see more of our residents, and make sure that we're providing the kind of health care that you need and deserve. Thank you and have a great rest of the evening.
It is now time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the second half of Ignite High Desert.
Purple rain, purple rain. Can I get everybody to get their flashlights on and hold up your phone? I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain. Woo! Purple rain. Yes, yes, sing it. Purple rain, purple rain. All right, I'm here to talk about the color purple, my lifestyle, the benefits, and what it means to me, and all the origins of the color purple. But guess what? I bet you didn't know Prince's favorite color wasn't purple. It was orange. And people always associate the color purple with Prince, and he turned the world purple. Look at some of his videos. You will see he had orange in there all the time. What is the color purple? It is always associated with different various colors between the red and blue hues on the wheel. And when you put those colors together, you get various colors of purple. You know how you all like to throw shade. Next time you want to throw some shade, throw it. It comes in 245 shades to throw. But throw it royalty. Throw it royally. Throw it royalty. The color purple, it ties into kings and queens. It was a motley and a kingly color. The soldiers put the robe on Jesus because he claimed to be the king. But in actuality, he is the King of kings and the Lords of lords. Can I get an amen? Tyrian purple, the color of royalty. It's a dye, aka purple imperial or royal purple, and it came from a mucus rare sea snail shell. So, anyone going scuba diving? Not? Okay. Why is purple a royal color? Purple was worn by upper and wealthiest classes. It was a supply and demand thing, and it was very expensive to make it. If I can't find it in purple, guess what? I dye it, I paint it, I make it purple. Why is purple attractive? It's associated with royalty, nobility, and spirituality. Darker shades represent luxury and opulence, while lighter shades represent sentimental, feminine, and even nostalgic. Violet has healing powers. It heals hysteria. It heals delusions and alcohol addictions. It soothes mental and emotional stress. It also brings spiritual insights, and it slows down an overactive heart and the white blood blood cells. Okay, it all started right here. That purple bag. That purple bag. My uncle came into town and he gave me that purple Crown Royal bag, and I started collecting everything. I wanted even my vintage Easter bunny to be in purple. I was a brat. I wanted everything in purple, and there I have it. Okay. My nephew even started collecting bags. Look at all these bags. But I don't take credit. If he drank all that was in those bags, it wasn't me. And he had the nerve to say, I don't know where I got the idea from. Well, I don't either. What kind of purple person likes purple? Me. Artistic, unique individual, very intuitive, deeply interested in spirituality, enough to wear it every day. People always say, is purple your real name? I say, no, but it should have been purple, violet, lavender. Okay, hashtag, I'm living a purple life. My living room's purple, my bathroom's purple, my kitchen's purple, my dining room's purple. My foyer says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. It's even in purple. It's purple. Other things, I fish in purple, I air fry in purple. He is good in purple. I tend my fire in purple. I shoot pool in purple, purple paper clips. Even my Tic Tacs is purple. More living the purple life. One of these days, I'm working on a backyard oasis, a purple one. I'm going to have that she shed. I'm going to have that pergola. And that little line, he guards everything on the front. He guards it for me. All the purple on the inside is purple. I like to do the do in purple. That's my purple feel. Not only am I purple on the outside, but I'm purple on the inside too. I even bleed purple. You all bleed purple, though. We all know that. Yes, it's true. I have a twin. Double trouble. Green is her color. Purple is mine. I'm the grape. She's the vine. She once said, you know, without the vine, you have no grapes. I rapidly said, quick, without the grapes, you have no wine. So you heard it through the grapevine. Too purpley? No way. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? People often say, is purple your favorite color? I say, no, blue. Just to see their face in there, I say, just kidding. And they say, it's purple. More purple people eaters. They wear purple also. But I tell you what, this little light of mine is purple. I'm gonna let it shine everywhere I go. I'm gonna let it shine. It's purple. Keep calm. Be eccentric. You're all kings and queens. It's purple. Peace.
Princess Pooh, amidst the porcelain palace, taking you on a journey of the realm of the royal flush, getting into a topic that is most often gets flushed away from polite conversation. Where the noble digestive tract reigns a supreme length of 30 feet. That's equivalent to today's school buses. Imagine all the traffic jams and gastric gridlock. The journey from the mouth to the nether regions should not be rushed, oh no. It's a gastric odyssey of grandeur and gurgles. It can take 12 to 24 hours. It's a gastronomic marathon where every bite counts. How long, you may ask? Well, that depends on what you eat, where you eat, how much you eat, and how long you eat. Enzymes also help break down that feast. The mysteries of the bowels, they rival the most cryptic of we should all be sitting on our own thrones 2 to 3 times a day, passing approximately a pound of poo. And now for a bit of royal trivia on an average hearty chap like yourself. you might produce a princely amount of 369 pounds of poo a year. That's equivalent to a reindeer. Some of us poop like one, small little pellets scattered amongst the Arctic tundra. As for us fair maidens and princesses, we do not poo, if we can help it. At last, we must partake in the royal explosion, churning out a mere 319 pounds of poo. Akin to the royal panda, but let us not envy the panda, for its fibrous diet leads to a staggering 40 pounds of poo a day. Imagine that throne room chaos. But some of us in this royal court do not poo and take time to poo, like our friend the sloth, which poos 1 time a week. Talk about gastric gridlock. But fear not, my dear subjects. There are ways in keeping your royal colon in tip-top shape by eating fresh fruits and vegetables, ample hydration, and staying away from those gastric processed foods. A spot of physical activity can work wonders in keeping the kingdom flowing smoothly, like taking a stroll in the gardens, stretching, or working out. And for those stubborn remnants that cling to the inside of your colon like a koala to his eucalyptus, giving us discomfort and bloating, what on earth can we do? We have colon hydrotherapy, fit for royalty, a gentle yet effective way to remove your waste and keeping that sloth pooper at bay. An easy way to keep your colon hydrated is by drinking half of your body weight in fluid ounces of fresh, clean water. But know that the water you drink while working out does not count. In the realm of the colon and its royal duties are to give the body a place to absorb the water you drink and the blood health vitamins of the feast that you enjoy. Like wilted plants in the royal garden, wilted and not able to produce, they need a good soaking once in a while to perk back up and produce a good crop. I hope you've learned a thing or two about your number twos. And be glad you're not a wombat that poops 40 times a day of perfect little cubes. Considering we sit on our thrones for over 80 hours of our lives, we should do it often in our own kingdoms to lighten your load and relieve those pressures of your royal duties. Whether it be floating, sinking, or somewhere in between, may your poops be smooth and satisfying in every way.
What a fragrant subject! Woo! My passion isn't hers. I like to build things and help people teach, and when it's amplified, it's a very simple process, really. For me, it gets into being my family. My father, my mother, my wife Shelley, my daughter Faith, my 2 grandsons, and the great-grandson is here too. So that's a lot of my passion, teaching them, helping them with various things. I wear the chapters of my life. I was born in '55 with Mickey Mouse and Disneyland, a husband, dad, grandpa, and a great-grandpa. He's over there eating. Frankentrain. in our family for over 50 years. Over 5 generations have had something to do with Franken Truck. It was lovingly named by my wife because she couldn't remember the various years that went into it. Not that I can, but and this here, Sean, which is here in the audience, 4 years old, helped me rebuild a compressor. Look at the spiles on that face. If that doesn't melt you, you're made of ice. What can I say? He was a joy. This one here, when he was 6, I explained to him what I was doing with Franken Truck, and I said, "Can I video you?" And he said, "Sure." This guy went in to be a teacher, showed me where the crack was, where everything was, how it was going to go, the whole 9 yards. You could have picked me up off the floor. Sean and Chris wanted to learn how to build things, so I just pulled stuff out of the shop that I wasn't going to use right away. Chris wanted to do the Ghost Rider bike, and so we made drawings and did different things. We went out treasure hunting, finding things that would fit onto it, what we thought it would make it kind of like steampunk or Mad Max or whatever. It was a great time with the boys doing things of this nature. It just doesn't stop. We even got carcasses for fire extinguishers, turned them into hydraulic tanks, made them look like V-twin engines, although the engine's further back because the trike was hydraulically driven. And we went and designed the hydraulic system for them. I explained what it was, how it worked, why they needed a forward and a reverse, how we accomplished that, and everything else. And then we put it all together, and this is what you see on the bottom left is the hydraulic system where the hoses are, and a friend of ours that was into exhaust system donated a turbo, and that little 2-cylinder engine actually spun it. Didn't do anything, but it spun it. It was fun. The maiden of Rat Trike. This is Chris taking it in a forward direction. He's got his little cars going. He's got it in a reverse direction. The hydraulic system wasn't powerful enough, but all of our hard work paid off. We took it to bike shows and car shows. We actually got awards, whether they felt sorry for us, they liked our energy and enthusiasm of what we were doing. We took it to parades through Apple Valley, Phelan, Hesperia, and everything else with Rat Trike and Franken Truck and something we called Motorhead. It was a statue made out of extra parts. And we actually got awards from that. My mother even got into it when she was up. I think she was flashing back to Mad Max and James Dean. I'm not sure. Maybe even Elvis. She loves Elvis. But she had to get on it and enjoy the time with us. My wife is a cake decorator, at least a retired one. These are beautiful, but they're fragile. We have to make internal structures for them so we can transport them or transport them in pieces and then assemble them. So I got to make up the inner structures. You like the nipple rings? Is that what it is? Or is it the plunger for the groom's cake? He was a plumber. Because we don't want to hear that, excuse me, oh shit, it's down. Working with Pastor Dave has helped me build a model for the museum. That's a 1/8 scale of our schoolhouse, which was built in 1883 in Hesperia. He took the high work. He's a little taller than I am. I was convalescing from a surgery, so our team, Shelly, my daughter Faith, Chris and Sean got together. I got to say, yeah, it goes there, and it goes there. They did the work. And so treasure every moment. This is Alakai, our newest addition or chapter. I cannot wait to work with him as he gets older. If I told you how that was accomplished, you wouldn't believe it. But embrace your chapters of your life, your passions, and have a great evening.
So my parents have owned and operated the Cross-Eyed Cow Pizza for the last 11.5 years. And my official title currently is the Captain of Multitasking. But out of all of my tasks, my favorite thing to do is being the marketing manager. It allows me to express my creativity while also reminding me the importance of communication, but also my community and my family. Marketing is so much more than just business and advertising and social media. It's basically human nature. It's in the choices that we make every single day, what we wear, how we spend our time, the company that we choose, but most importantly, it's our voice and our story, how we portray ourselves and what we share and who we share that with. So we all have a story, and it gives me a voice. It's who I am, and it's how I got here. So my mom is probably my biggest role model and my biggest influence. She is the strongest, smartest, and most capable person I've ever known. I mean, my whole family is pretty inspiring. That's my dad there. But my parents definitely take the cake, or like a pie, like a pizza. Growing up, they taught me to never give up. Of course, work hard, because they're both workaholics, but most importantly, to think outside the box. Their ability to work together and create things is absolutely incredible. When they opened the restaurant, they had no previous experience other than just being a customer. So they relied heavily on guerrilla marketing, which is just word of mouth, and providing a good product, which is a great start and a good foundation. That allowed me to step in and try to take things to the next level with their help, of course. But I wanted everyone to see and understand the love that grew there in that restaurant. I mean, I witnessed the hard work and the passion that was put in, and I knew that this story needed to be told. So like I said, communication. I adopted a motto a few years ago: communication is key. And I know that communication is not easy for everybody, because I grew up the middle child and the only girl. So I basically had to market myself as a child to get my mother's attention. But stepping into this role with marketing really put me in charge. It gave me a voice, a chance to write their story, or in this case, a microphone. My whole family's pretty awesome, like I said, but my younger brother, he's been a musician my entire life. And I've always been surrounded by an appreciation for art and music. And we always wanted to implement these hobbies and passions into the things that we do, into our business, because it's who we are. And we try to celebrate creativity whenever possible. But when I hear people say that there's nothing to do in the high desert, it's the most frustrating thing. We are surrounded by talent. We provide 2 seasons of live entertainment on our patio each year, featuring local bands. That's also my brother there. And through marketing, I'm not only able to seek and find these talented individuals, but I'm able to give them a space to showcase and utilize my platforms, websites, and in-store signage to help share their talents and stories. And we also host events like the OG Roundup, which gives vendors the same place to share their stories and passions. We use the funds from these events to put back into our community. And my brother, which you just saw there, was holding our first harvest from our Farm to Table initiative that he's been leading. He's in the audience if you want to thank him later. But that's another avenue that we choose to take to grow as a business, a family, and a community. Now, marketing has opened a lot of doors and given me opportunities as well, like being on The Hot Slice, which is a pizza podcast that's nationwide. And this year we were nominated for America's Best Restaurants. And prepping for that filming was a little difficult. I walked through the restaurant and I wanted our restaurant to show the vibrancy that my family has, our personality. So I utilized my creativity and I took these light fixtures. I hand painted these wooden utensils, each and every one. And on the previous slide had some photos. I rummaged through memories from throughout the years and paper maché'd them. In this one, I took our pizza pans and painted each one of them to say a unique story that represented my family. So when they showed up in February to say action, my staff and my family truly shined, and it showed and said our story for us. But I know that arts and crafts may not sound like marketing, but it's all about how you get your voice out there and tell that story. So marketing, it connects people, ideas, and experiences to create dynamic and thriving communities. The memories and connections that I've made continue to inspire me, and by weaving them into my job with marketing, I not only get to relive them, but I'm able to create a more relatable brand for me, my family, and our restaurant. I'm overall able to share my vision, our passions, our story, and connect with people in ways I never imagined. So I hope that this inspires you guys to step outside, to take in the beauty that surrounds us, cherish these moments, and most importantly, tell your story. Thank you.
As a proud product of the High Desert, my journey through education has been deeply rooted in our community. From Hesperia Christian School to Oak Hills High School, and as an alum turned employee of Victor Valley College, it is amazing to see the way the college has grown over the years. In the spring and summer of 2023, VVC's Technology Center in Building 21 underwent renovation to accommodate the college's newest innovation, 4 student engagement centers, of which I am proud to oversee one of them. What is a student engagement center? To answer that question, let me provide some background. When someone wants to enroll in classes at VVC, they are directed to the one-stop student service building, where they can get help with completing the steps to becoming a VVC student, all within one central location. But what's next? Once a student starts taking classes, the student engagement centers are designed to be the second stop in a student's journey. The engagement centers serve as a support and study center and are dedicated to helping students acclimate to the college environment. These centers are tailored to cater to students based on their program of study, whether a student's passion lies in business, law, and real estate, humanities, fine arts, and social science, public safety and industry, or science, technology, engineering, math, and health science, there is a space for that. More often than we would like to see, students attend Victor Valley College without a support system at home. Through these engagement centers, they can find the support system that they have been longing for. We have a program manager, peer mentors, academic counselors, and professors. When a student steps foot into one of these centers, they are greeted by this team of people who want to see them thrive academically. But one thing about VVC is it's not just about academics. We are dedicated to providing an environment that allows students to form meaningful connections and friendships that can last a lifetime. With that being said, the student engagement centers are not only a support center, but they double as a student's gateway into student life by hosting club meetings and various events and activities that create sense of belonging. Our most popular events have been our career speaker events, where we extend an open invitation to local community members to come out and speak to students about their education and career experiences that have led them where they are today. Through these events, we have bridged the gap between education and industry. Beyond the planning and coordination of events, program managers are working behind the scenes to ensure that our students aren't falling behind by providing additional support and outreach to first-time college students and students that might be struggling academically. When I reflect on my time as a student, I was disengaged. Now, as a part of the student engagement centers, I have witnessed the impact they have firsthand by turning the shyest of students into fully engaged members of VVC's learning community. While our centers have not been open long enough to see a student through their entire VVC journey, we made connections early on and cannot wait to see what lies ahead for them. As a Student Engagement Center Program Manager for STEM and Health Science, I would be remiss if I did not recognize the future of STEM professionals within our community, the faces I see daily. Gabriel Espinoza Diaz, resident of Helendale, transferring to Cal State San Bernardino for mathematics with teaching emphasis. Alexandria Tucker, resident of Victorville, transferring to Cal Poly Pomona for biochemistry. Eric Jung, resident of Apple Valley and first-year VVC student, currently majoring in math and science with intent to transfer into biochemistry. And Marla Ambrose, resident of Hesperia, transferring to Cal Poly Pomona for biology and future med school student. Although we are getting ready to bid farewell to students like Gabe, Alex, Marla, and the rest of the Victor Valley College class of 2024, a sense of pride as we see these young members of our High Desert community embark on an exciting future. And while we also celebrate the success and the early impact of the student engagement centers, let me just remind you that our journey is just beginning. We believe in the power of human connection and are eager to continue forming those connections and paving the way for increased student success at VVC. If someone you know and care about is a student at VVC, or if you are a student at VVC yourself, know to those that are just beginning their journey with us and to those who might feel uncertain or overwhelmed, we extend a hand of reassurance, encouragement, and support. At Victor Valley College, we recognize that each student brings their own unique experiences, perspectives, and talents to our community. By embracing the power of diversity and spaces, we continue to create an environment where every student voice is valued. And as we look towards the future at Victor Valley College, we remain committed to innovation and excellence. As our superintendent president, Dr. Walden, would say, we are continuously getting better at getting better. We will continue to adapt, evolve, and pioneer new approaches to meet the needs of our students. If there is anything we have learned from this journey, is that it takes a village. Together, let's continue to build a community where all of our children and young adults in the high desert feel empowered and inspired to reach their full potential. Thank you.
I love the high desert. I want you to envision a future where we embrace our vibrant beauty of the high desert, where we build upon our past successes, and where we as a community drive that change. That is the opportunity we have today. We face challenges, no doubt, such as the high-speed rail network going into Vegas, and long-term challenges such as long-term road maintenance. It's about $1 million per mile over the course of 20 years. To better address these challenges, I believe a strong high desert depends on us having a strong community. A strong community is the key to all of this for positive change, addressing our community's changing needs and challenges, and meeting our goals and obligations as a city and as our communities. Each is important to play a part in this. I'm excited today for the opportunity to challenge and educate the high desert community and all you Igniters to strive for a stronger community, push positive transformation and continuous improvement as our goals so that we may have strong and financially strong and thriving communities. In Strong Towns by Charles Marone, a civil engineer and city planner by trade, he challenges our traditional approach to city development and planning so that we may have stronger communities that are economically resilient and sustainable towns. He argues our current system of growth, of expansionary growth, focused on our car-centric infrastructure. These are literally all the grocery stores in the high desert, so far away from everyone else, and high investment cost projects is unsustainable economically in the long run. It's like 15 minutes to each one at least. I want us to focus on three main things. I want us to store wealth in our cities incrementally. 2, to make our cities more people-friendly and walkable for people in their communities so they don't have to worry about telling their kids, hey, watch the cars. And for greater residents' participation in government to help drive these decisions. By storing our wealth in our cities, we can focus on building our wealth incrementally rather than large-scale, high-cost, maybe, might-be projects of it might bring back wealth, to focus on the long-term sustainability of our cities. To better help our strong community build, we can focus on wealth creation through incremental development, taking step-by-step progresses, focusing on redeveloping neglected areas like here in Apple Valley, way on Highway 18, and addressing our local residents' daily needs and struggles. Incremental developments are the key to all of us to have a real long-lasting return on our investments that benefit the community. Taking little bets at a time to solve little problems, building on what works, and then repeating the process so that we can thrive. This is downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. It combines the mixed use of public business and residential properties so that people can thrive and have a walkable city. This will help our cities build strong communal bonds, which is the key drivers to having a great city. We focus on people rather than our cars so that we, the community, can drive this progress. Walkable areas allow people of the community to explore the community around them rather than driving by at 40 miles an hour. Encourages physical activity and knowing our neighbors. It also allows us to embrace that we are the ones who build it and people next to us build it as well. It encourages economic success for local businesses by allowing them to have visibility to new customers that they did not reach before, and in mixed-use spaces allows these businesses to further succeed by allowing smaller businesses to take small bets to drive their progress. Finally, thanks to the High Desert Chamber of Commerce leadership classes, which I'm a part of, I got to meet the city managers of Hesperia, Apple Valley, and Victorville, and they explained to me how they are participating with their cities and interacting with them. Partnership is the key to help us get this all started. By embracing the partnership between public service, businesses, and people of the community who know the real world challenges of the city can help us excel managing our cities. Each plays a part to drive our potential solutions and our solving our potential problems. Effective solutions are driven by these people, from local residents to organizations to businesses to people in the government. They all have a real world understanding. And to make this happen, we need to empower our citizens to participate in our decision-making and planning processes so that we have a say in our cities, to create more resilient and responsive cities that respond to our needs today and tomorrow. This will allow us to have a better outcome for our communities. In conclusion, by advocating incremental community investment for our cities, a more mixed-use walkable communities for people and our families, and for a people-driven approach to our communities, we can see a more resilient and prosperous future in the long term for our cities. I encourage you to explore these ideas to create a stronger community, to have a stronger high desert, to create a better life for us all. Thank you to all of you Igniters.
Kindness. Who needs it? Well, let's have a look in the mirror. Looks like you need it and I need it. In fact, we live in a broken, bleeding world, and if you reach out 18 inches, you might touch somebody that really needs kindness. But where in the world are we going to find the agents for kindness? Well, I can't make a decision for you, and you can't make one for me, but individually we can decide that we will be a part of the community around the world, millions of people. It'll be costly, though. It'll cost a lot more than money. It'll cost time that you hadn't anticipated and a lot of energy, and it'll actually cost you yourself as you engage to be kind. There are people who have made it their lifestyle, the passion of their life to give kindness every single day. You and I can be a part of that kind of individual to say, yes, that's going to be the mission of my life. Kindness breeds kindness. I'm up here because of my friend Gary Driley. He put my slides together. And when kindness breeds kindness, you never know what's going to happen. You enter into the friends and their interests, and they enter into yours. The family is the primary unit to share and spread kindness as it's passed on to the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. It passes on through society, where you take time to go across the street. You will go to the fence and you listen. You share what you can share and they share with you. And in that way, our neighborhoods take on a whole new meaning. Daryl Davis was sharing a drink after a rhythm and blues concert, and the man said, I've never had a drink with a black man before. And he wondered what in the world is wrong. I've had thousands of drinks with other white people. And then he said he was surprised that Daryl knew how to play the rhythm and blues. He thought maybe he learned it from Jerry D. Lewis. And he said, no, we taught Jerry D. Lewis how to do that. So he decided he would embrace his new friend, who he discovered was from the Ku Klux Klan, with kindness. And he would learn all that he could learn. They were traveling together one day in the pickup truck, and the guy said, you know, you have that violent gene in you. You're black. And the guy looked, said, I've never had a violent moment. And he said, oh, but you know what? You have the serial killer gene in you. You're white. Name me one black serial killer. And the guy saw how stupid it was. And he decided that he would give his robe to Daryl. And before it was over, there were 200 robes that had been given to him. Kindness had changed hatred into friendship. Kindness can even change a nation. He was a 16-year-old. He was captured by pirates. He was taken to Ireland, sold as a slave. He was assigned to take care of sheep out in the wilderness, alone as a teenager, and praying and saying, God, help me. And he had a vision of a ship, and he went down to the shore, and they allowed him to board. And 3 days later, they ran aground, and they were on French coast. He took up residence at a monastery. There in the monastery, he learned how to be a priest and was actually promoted to be a bishop. The Pope assigned him to be the Bishop of Ireland, and he went back to the people that had abused him and gave forgiveness, and he and his troop of missionaries would set up little villages in the proximity of the clan leaders, and one by one, clan leaders left their religion of superstition and fear and embraced a Christ who gave forgiveness and love with patience and long-suffering, and engaged to share a way of life that was new and different to all of them. Kindness is expressed in more than just simple gestures. Yes, it's a handshake, it's a smile, it's a paying it forward, it's a fist bump, but it's a whole lot more than that. Kindness comes from a heart of love. And when you see love in action, you're able to engage to receive something that is a treasured gift, and you're able to give one in return. We have the privilege of living lives of kindness, but we don't do it alone. There's one who has given his life that we may have life, and he will help guide us as we embrace our broken and bleeding world with his love and grace.
I'm Risa. I'm a mom. I'm a classical musician turned web and graphic designer, turned digital marketing consultant, turned community organizer. And like many multi-hyphenates, I'm also a former gifted kid. But like many former gifted kids, I once had a teacher who thought I had ADHD, but my mom was having none of it. She thought, you understand the materials, you do okay in school, so you can't have ADHD. You're too smart for that. So she had me tested, and I was put in the gifted program. But I still managed to struggle in school. I just didn't know how to prioritize tasks well. So as my son went through the ADHD diagnostic process, I saw a lot of the same symptoms in myself. So at the age of 32, I also was diagnosed with ADHD. And suddenly I had answers. I had a why for my struggles with task initiation and prioritization, but it's just a starting point when you get a diagnosis, right? So my new hyperfixation became ADHD itself and how other people cope with it. How do they initiate tasks when their brains are screaming that there are just too many steps? Spoon theory was the first concept to really click for me. Writer Christine Miserandino came up with it when her friend asked her what it was like to live with lupus. She used the tools that they had at the dining table, and eventually she fleshed it out more fully into an essay. The basic idea is that all the tasks you do throughout the day cost a certain number of spoons. Every day you wake up with a certain number of spoons, and it varies from day to day. Even more so when you have a disability or an illness or a chronic pain disorder. So, let's say you start the day with 100 spoons. Getting ready for work costs 5. Getting the kids ready for school costs 10. You're barely sitting down to work, and you're already down 15%. But what if you only woke up with 50 spoons that day, and you have a work project that you know is going to take 25? How do you decide what other tasks get done or get skipped? That was my struggle. So one day, while I'm avoiding this struggle, I'm doom scrolling on TikTok, which is basically a tailor-made dopamine drip for people with ADHD, by the way, and I came across an expression that changed my life. My own personal Hakuna Matata, anything worth doing is worth half-assing. Now, stay with me here. I don't mean it's okay to be sloppy and careless. I just mean that if it needs to be done, it's probably important enough that it doesn't have to be perfect. Because when you've let go of perfect, priorities become a lot more clear. Task initiation becomes a lot easier when you know that the task list is shorter. And when tasks are initiated, they're well on their way to being done because you already have inertia. Take brushing your teeth, for example. You should brush for 2 minutes, morning and night, and you should floss daily. But if you're struggling, it's better to brush for 45 seconds than to not brush at all. Anything worth doing is worth half-assing. Same thing goes for the gym. Sometimes our bodies say no to that full hour class at FitFam, sorry, but a 15-minute walk is better than doing nothing. Anything worth doing is worth half-assing. Now, could I phrase this differently? Sure. The concept is basically don't let perfect be the enemy of done. But when you're already struggling, you can be gentle with yourself in order to give yourself that little kick in the pants you might need. Now, don't forget, this is a capacity budget cut tool. You need that comfort. You need that gentleness, and you need that playfulness. Because the goal is going to be to give yourself permission to cut back where you need to. Don't spend 10 spoons when 5 will suffice. You're going to have to make those uncomfortable decisions between perfect and incomplete, or complete and imperfect. So consider, when is imperfect going to create room for collaboration and teamwork? When is imperfect going to be a burden on the people depending on me? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is for. The family, the colleagues, customers, clients, and peers that depend on us. Prioritize wisely and apply judiciously, because only you can determine those priorities. And if you can figure those out, you can account and even budget for imperfection as you prioritize your day-to-day. More often than not, it's going to be more important to get the task done than it will be to get it 2/3 of the way perfectly. We all want to be our best selves, and sometimes all we need is permission to let go of perfect. So just remember, anything worth doing is worth half-assing.
Middle school, yes. Who remembers this time, right? An awkward time, a growing time, a learning time, maybe a growing in pains time, maybe a bullying time. Anyone? Anyone? Did you know 1 through 5 out of students will be bullied, whether it's verbal harassment, social, physical, cyberbullying? Now that's the time of age we're in. Unfortunately, I was one of those victims in middle school. I won't tell you which one, all right? But I was in an altercation in a restroom where more than 3 people jumped on me, where I woke up like not knowing what happened, very hurt. And when this happened, I told my father, "Father, I need to learn how to defend myself because I don't want to be a victim anymore." This is where I encountered 3 different arts at the school I studied. We have the Filipino martial arts, the Muay Thai Thai boxing, and the Junfan Gung Fu Jeet Kune Do, which we'll get into here in just a few moments as the demonstration goes on. So benefits of learning martial arts. You have your mind, you have your body, and you have your spirit, okay? Of course, you'll get strong. You'll develop confidence, self-esteem, flexibility, coordination, respect, integrity, patience, absolutely. And you learn how to have self-confidence. I have the theory of, I want to be a lamb when I need to, but I'll be a lion when I need to. Difference. I learned how to be a lamb and learned how to be a lion. Learn how to be patient, but when it's time to engage, I'm ready to engage, okay? As some schools don't really teach anymore, they don't carry that essence of martial arts anymore, that warrior spirit, that servant spirit. Don't fall for these traps, okay? Safety first. If you're looking for a school, safety first. What do they teach? Let's talk about the Kali here. This is the Filipino martial arts. By the way, this is Ken Davis who will be assisting me today. Filipino martial arts, right? Thank you, Ken. It's a weapons-based system older than 300 years old. It was before the Spaniards conquered the Philippines in the 1500s. Weapon-based system, we're going to do a little flow here, what's called. Okay. So So in this art here, he learns and we learn the weapons already here. Not like sometimes in America where the weapons are last, this is actually first, okay? This is not just, boom, this transitions to the blade, it transitions to a knife, it transitions on over to a single axe, even the nunchucks, right? That's what's so awesome about that art. Our military uses it, and our own law enforcement uses it. Let's talk about Muay Thai, Thai boxing. Everyone's heard this, the art of 8 limbs, your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your kicks. The art of 8 limbs, coming from Thailand or Kabrikabong. We're gonna go ahead and do this nice little flow drill called an 8-count series here. So he's gonna go ahead and go jab, cross to the body, boom, boom, hook, 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 cross, knee, and kick. He defends my kick here, boom, he doubles up, boom, cross, hook, boom, uppercut, elbow, elbow, knee, and kick. And then we back up just a little bit, and then we're gonna go jab, cross, hook, boom, learning all these hand motions, boom, boom, knee, and kick. The Muay Thai, Thai boxing, very powerful, very, very, very practical, okay? Which leads us next to our last art, the Junfan Gung Fu Jeet Kune Do. This is actually Bruce Lee's martial arts. This is an American art. How is this an American art? Because Bruce Lee was born in America, so this is an American art. Now, we're not going to show too much of the actual art, but we're going to show the concept behind it, of knowing how to blend the arts together. Dana White, the UFC president, even said Bruce Lee is the godfather of MMA. So we're going to go ahead and start here. We'll do a little flow here. We strike here, boom, boom, defense, boom, boom. I disarm here. I come here, he disarms here. What if there's no weapon? Well, you know what? What if there's a knife? This isn't a competition fight. This is a street fight. He's boom, 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 here, boom. It's still not over. There's still fight in me. When I were going empty hand, boom, pop, 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 boom, boom. It's still not over. I'm still standing. Come on, I'm still standing. Come on, he's jabbing, boom. I'm still standing, boom, come on, I'm still standing. Boom, 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 pop, and choke. As you see, I've learned a little bit, okay? I was very, very, very fortunate that this is one of the routes that I got led to and learning about Christ through martial arts. It developed a sense of self-esteem. Even though it was at a young age, it's never too late to learn. Whether you're 5 or 80, never too late to learn martial arts. One great thing I learned this, the warrior mindset, the servanthood mindset. Be fierce, but kind. Be strong, but gentle. Be powerful, but humble. These are the traits of a true warrior. My name is Coach Joe.
Hello, how are we doing? Did you guys enjoy it? Alrighty, let's give it up for your 2024 High Desert Igniters. Alrighty. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And let's scrunch in a little bit. Let's scrunch in a little bit so we can get a good picture. Scooch, scooch. Alrighty, and if we could please welcome to the stage the Greater High Desert Chamber staff.
And of course, we couldn't do this. Thank you, Mr. Byron Ward with HD Art and Frame. And remember, guys, this is the person that originally had said no. Let's give a big round of applause to the chair of the Ignite High Desert event, Terry Sines. We want to thank you very much for being here, for attending and supporting our 8th annual Ignite High Desert event. Drive safely and have a great night.